with the pricing. We took way too long to get that out. We should have had that earlier.
Yeah. So this thing's live now, right? It just popped
We're
up.
live. I do it like Joe Rogan. I just surprise the guest and hit that
Yeah. Good
button.
thing I wasn't talking bad about nobody on YouTube.
Or maybe you should, because then it might get clipped and then
Yeah, we'll go viral saying all these other people are frauds out there in the Amazon world.
exactly. What's good, Brian Fisher? Hustle Dimes, what's up? Brian came all the way out to Miami. Speaking of Brian coming out to Miami, you should come out to Vegas.
I am a homebody, dude.
Come on, man. One
I know,
weekend.
dude.
You ever been
Listen,
to like any reseller meetups?
you don't think I don't see enough of you people on YouTube? Like I
In the
get my
flesh,
fill.
though, it's different with some drinks flowing.
I don't drink, so I'm out automatically, right? Like,
Hey, I won't drink that weekend if you don't drink that weekend. I've been sober in Miami. That's not the point, though. The point is like it's like a family reunion.
I said it publicly because, Joji and Victor reached out to me right away when they thought about doing the conference, and I just have a lot of moving pieces at home, and honestly, dude, I rather just chill where I am.
Have you been to a conference before?
No.
I think it would blow your mind.
I don't know, dude.
What is it? Are you scared like public speaking, or is it?
I got no problem public speaking.
I don't think you would. But some people are like that though.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know. It's kind of just like a pissing contest to me, honestly. I just want no parts of it.
It's not like that at all. It's like the reason why I'm so gung ho over these events is the book flipper.
Yeah.
Roth used to throw these, and dude, I was like a nobody back then. I used to pull up in my fucking Corolla with the canoe on top, pay $200, which was so much money to me, and then I would just become friends with all these booksellers that like weren't on social media doing like hundreds of thousands a month. Changed my fucking life, and ever since then, I've been like so gung ho about events. Like it's different meeting people in person.
Yeah, I think it adds a lot of value, right? Like, I mean, 100% it's worth it to build the relationships, especially, I guess it's different for me having a YouTube channel and being able to just be like, hey, Romer, what's going on? Hey, Rakin, what's going on? Like I already have built the connections. So
but
for me,
I'm telling you, it's different in person. Like it's so much different.
I know, dude. It's not my cup of tea.
You've never even done it before. Don't knock it till you try it, right?
Yeah, I know, but then I gotta, like, I don't know, man. It's when there's one in Pennsylvania, which there never will be, that I'll go to that one.
I'll come up there and we'll do a little one. I will just do a free event at a restaurant, and you'll see how it is. Like I used to do these events in New York and shit. Like do you remember? Would you follow me back then, or were you on Instagram following me like 5 years ago?
No, dude, I literally didn't get Instagram till this past year. I never even had Instagram.
Like, dude, 5 years ago, 2019, I drove to New York. I went to Boston, and I would just be like, let's go to this restaurant, meet up, and dude, like 10 people would show up. And I felt so famous back then. I had such a big head. I had like 5,000 followers and thought I was a shit. And I don't know, it's just different meeting people in person. Like I can't explain it. Like
it's funny. I was in Goodwill the other day, and somebody recognized me. They were scanning the DVDs, and believe it or not, he's in my private Discord. He's a member of the channel. Yeah, I'm like, oh, what the hell are the odds of this? And we just hit a few thrift stores together, so there is definitely something to be said.
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. Like, and it's just different than like, Matt's here saying my two favorite book gurus, but it's different, Matt, when I get to see you in person. Like I know Brian Fisher because he came, and I met him in person. I don't think I've met Matt in person. Raking a strong number 3. I want to meet more people. Oh, this is somebody from your paid Discord. Is that what?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
It is kind of weird to think about though. Like we're talking about years ago, right? And how like the market's changed selling media. Like overall, it's a completely different game. You used to be able to go in a Goodwill, any thrift store, and leave with like an IKEA bag, cart gang, full cart gang, and like it doesn't exist no more, man. The climate, the temperament's changed across the board, and I think it's getting harder and harder if you're just going to rely only on thrift stores. We all talk about building relationships, but I mean, all my Goodwill scan all of the books. The books are dead in my Goodwills. I got like 20 in my routes, northeast, southwest, and they scan all the books get scanned at a distribution center. All of the duds get sent to the stores, and that's kind of where all the thrift stores are moving towards. So people you got to start doing things differently, get involved with libraries. I work with the libraries. All their donations basically go to me for nothing. get involved with thrift stores, mom and pops, getting their back
How do you
room.
get in are you picking up the donations, or are they actually like dropping them off to you?
I pick them up. So they got like push carts set up in their libraries. They wheel them to a back room. They only keep things that are 3 years or newer. So anything 3 years or older, regardless of what it is, goes right to my pile. They text me once a month. I go pick them up and to fill up the car. They know how many boxes I can fit in. And I mean,
Mhm.
I donate to the library every time I go. But yeah, they don't expect anything. You just provide the service. Because before me, they had the old ladies loading up their Priuses and taking them to the thrift stores. So now, they don't have to. They can just sit there until I come get them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Have you ever considered like having them pre-scan the books for you with Scoutly?
No, it just I feel like that would they don't have a lot of space. Most of the libraries don't. Um, and honestly, it's all volunteers. And that's the thing with the libraries. That's why you have the advantage
Dude,
walking
you'd be
into a
surprised,
library.
man. Did you ever, Caleb had that business for a while.
Yeah, he was doing consignment. I don't want no parts of that. I want all the money to myself. I'll do the work and take all the money instead of splitting it.
Yeah. I guess the benefit is like they would ship him the books. So he would
Yeah.
have like a box of profitable books arrive on his doorstep, every week.
And I guess that broadens your range too, because then you don't have to have your immediate area of libraries, right? You only got so many
Yeah.
libraries around you. You can have them, across the state, across the country, if they're willing to ship them to you. Even if you eat the shipping cost, you're still
Yeah.
going to make money if you have them set up correctly with the trigger sets.
Right. Right. So you source 2 days a week, right?
2 stinking days.
And that's including these library pickups and stuff.
Yeah. When I usually have a library pickup, I get it in the morning. I got a few thrift stores out there. Probably takes me I literally fill up the car to the top. It probably takes me about 2, 3 hours to get through it all.
Okay. What are your sales at?
Past 30 days is, I think, like 10.5. I just made a video on it today.
Nice. And your profit's about 40%, would you say?
No, it's higher. I was surprised today when I looked. Out of 10.5, I took home like 56.
Nice.
It was like 540 items sold. My average buy cost is around 75 cents. So you eat another $400. I'm looking at like 51, 5,200 bucks
How are
profit
you?
in a
How
month.
do you run your numbers?
What do you mean?
Like, are you using the software, QuickBooks? Are you just looking at bank
I got
statements?
I got a Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
You just download your transaction report and it pulls in everything, your fees, your buy costs, all that type of stuff. It breaks everything down.
Well, that's a benefit of GoToLister. I know you said you started using it again this weekend, but
Yeah, I seen that when I was doing my box. It kind of and it pulled in all my stuff I already have in there, like
yeah.
all my sales information.
Do you have a spreadsheet with SKUs and buy cost?
No.
Okay. If you did, you could import all your SKU data and buy cost data. But here, I'll show you real quick. This is gonna be exciting. Like the thing about GoToLister is like, and what a lot of people don't realize is we fully have somebody coding. Like my partner Dom is coding like 10 hours a fucking day. So we have a ton of features coming out. One of the features is going to be net profit report. So there's going to be a up here. It'll say download, tax document for 2024, and it'll just have like every Amazon fee, like the transaction report you're talking about. All that'll be within GoToLister. But right now, this is just showing fees associated with the order. So all these fees are just like FBA fees. So it doesn't include like inbound shipping fees, your subscription fees. So you could tack on probably like another $1,000 in inbound shipping fees to this. But this just kind of gives you an idea if you're making healthy purchasing decisions or not. So
Yeah,
yeah,
software is expensive, dude. People don't realize that. You got to pay to get your time back and be more efficient. That's kind of,
yeah,
I'm doing this 20 hours a week. Like, I think the way I've done it is almost backwards from what everybody kind of, when I first started out, it's like you got to be out there 4 or 5 days a week. You got to be grinding. I don't think
yeah,
that is necessarily true. You just have to understand your sources, understand your routes, how often you can go to them. And I mean, sure, if you want to be out there 60 hours a week, go for it. I just rather get my time back, focus on other things. And, when I made this decision to not try to scale my hours back, it wasn't I'm going to scale my hours back and it's fine if my money goes away with it. My plan was, okay, I'm going to cut my hours back, but I want to grow or maintain the same amount of income I was making
yeah.
at that point. And, you know, it is what it is. I tell people all the time, am I even a really full-time reseller if I'm only working 20 hours a week? Well, the money I make, yes, but the time I work, you know, not at all.
Yeah. Is that your lister?
Yeah, that's my lister, my wife. Yeah,
That's
I
me.
work for her as well. She You can't see, but she's got a bunch of embroidery machines back there.
Oh
She
yeah.
has her own brand. She sells cat and dog toys full time.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
you gotta stop thinking it's always like it's got to be this grind. And like I even know Steve's been, you know, he just made a video talking about how little bit he works in his business,
Yeah.
and it's almost like a movement that's kind of started where people are trying to get their time back and you know basically outsource the task we really don't have to waste time on in this
Mhm.
business. And a lot of people are like scared to be like, hey. I don't want to source anymore. Or I don't want to list anymore. But in reality, that's the only way you can scale in this
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one way to think about it is like you've already delegated the whole FBA side of things.
Yeah.
Like people don't think about that. Like I don't want to delegate anything in my business. I want to do everything myself. But Amazon's already packing, prepping, storing, shipping, customer service. Like you've already delegated all those 5 things. Amazon forced you to do it. Um, but when it comes to delegating intentionally, people don't want to do it. What would you say is like something you would recommend your audience to delegate first? Like what should cherry pickers delegate?
So I would go scouting 100%, even though it's fun to scout.
Yeah.
I rather list personally because I do feel like there's a lot to be said about that initial list price when you list an
Okay.
item.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I get more bang for my buck instead of just having somebody. But then again, you could argue, hey, you know, I buy a lot of rejects nowadays that really aren't rejects because the software is limited in what you get when you're out scanning. But I would go sourcing and I would just, you know, hire somebody in a different city and then go pick up every once in a while from them. Honestly, it's tough to delegate any of that. But I mean, being out in thrift stores ain't no fun, right? It's like people are like, oh, it's fun, it's fun. Well, when you're doing it all the damn time, you're dealing with all these crazy ass people in
Yeah.
these thrift stores. Like, it's a grind, man, and most
Yeah,
people aren't
I'd
cut
say
out
it's
for it.
fun. This isn't like my like this. I've always been this way. Like I have a lot of fun like the first hour, but by the fourth hour, I'm like fucking hungry. I need a Gatorade. And I'm like, I'm fucking over this.
Yeah,
You
dude,
know,
and you got to
Dude,
drive, right?
nobody sources 8 hours a day. I don't care who you are. Like nobody's sourcing 8 hours a day every single day. And I promise you, if you did in any large to medium to large size city, you'd be making over 100K a year easily if you're truly sourcing 8 hours a day. But people just don't do it. Like there's nobody doing that.
2 days a week, dude. That's all I ask from anybody. And you could literally change your life selling media on Amazon. 2 stinking days. Devote those days to only sourcing, right? I'm not texting all day. I'm not walking around the thrift stores being, you know, a fool looking at all this shit. I'm going in. It's a business transaction. I go in, I scan my shit, I get out, go to the next one. And you got to drive. You know, most of my routes are over an hour one way. I start at the furthest store because if you start close and it sucks, like Romer said, your ass is going back home. You're not going to continue on the 7 hour journey. You got to start at the furthest, work your way back, and
Yeah,
you're
that's
committed
a
to
good
it.
tip. That's a good tip. I used to run into a lot of rush hour when I was traveling, so I started to. I don't know what I did to really optimize for that, but it definitely came in mind. It's like, oh, rush hour is going to hit. So it's better to be at one location during rush hour for that duration than driving around, fucking around in traffic. What
Yep.
do you say? Matt's asking about. He says Mike's triggers are the cream of the crop. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Don't use the default triggers. They suck. They're not. They're set up. Think about it this way: if I had a software, me and you had a scanning software, and a brand new person downloads the software, of course you want them to be hitting all greens in the software, right? So you feel like, you know, that's the dopamine. So their
Yeah,
triggers are set up for, you know, $2 profit,
yeah,
250, $3. Sure, you might think to yourself, well, I got it for free. It says I'm going to make $2. Well, are you factoring all the fees? Because the scanning software is not factoring in the low inventory level fees. What happens if it gets returned? You got to remove it. There's so many different things that go into these triggers. And I always say mine's just a building block. Me and Romer, we don't have the same triggers. Nobody should have the same triggers because our prices are different. Our quality of inventory is different. Are you doing bulk? You got to have different trigger sets for everything. So, and triggers are important. I just recommend, you know, don't, if you're just not going to follow any trigger set, you go into the default, bump everything up $3, and that'll be a good baseline to start off of.
So bump everything up to 3. What else are you doing different?
See, man, now like if I give out my trigger sets and everybody's going to use my trigger sets, and then
Don't
they're
you
going
have
to be,
videos breaking those down? Because
I do, but like I didn't put out my official thrifting
Gotcha.
trigger set because,
Gotcha.
yet again, my business is different. I'll send in a book if there's no FBA offers, if it's got one sales score. But what
Now
happens
let me
here
ask you
is,
this. Now, for like honest opinion, not plugging my software at all. I guess I am plugging my software, but that's the reason why I created Go To Lister, the no FBA portion of it, because I used to go to McKay's used bookstore, and it got to the point, like my personality is like this. Like first half of the day, I'm like super dialed in. I'm like, all right, no FBA offers. I'm gonna pick this up. I pick up a bunch of books, no FBA offers. I knew I could price them for more. I'd put them in a pile, go home, and I'd be like, fuck, I don't want to list this. And I'd be like, I'm over it. And like I never really liked the listing phase of it. That's why I created Go To List to be faster. But like I would forget to price them no FBA prices. I'm like, and then I would send them in at like $19 buy box when I should have really sent it in at like $30 or $39 because there's no FBA offers, you know? And so what I started to do was in the bookstore, I would have a no FBA box and an FBA box. So if there's no FBA offers, I would stick it in this separate box because it was so common for me to come across no FBA offers that the apps would reject or they would accept, but I knew I could price it for higher that I would put it in that box instead. But now Go To Lister notifies you when there are no FBA offers, it turns purple and it prices a book for you, but really it encourages you to price the book manually because you're going to know the best price to price it at. So, is that a feature like you've even messed around with Go To Listers? Is that
yeah,
something you think is
yeah,
helpful?
I ran into
Or
it with the
do you
box
do
I did.
anything similar to that? Like, do you have a no FBA box? Like, how are you
I
dealing with that?
I literally ran into it when I listed my box on Go To Lister this past week, and it automatically fills the price to like for me it was like $300 or something, but it pops up, hey, there's no FBA offers. But the problem is, Romer, you get people that'll go out there and buy every damn one sales score book, CD, DVD, and then they're in the comment section like, hey, this business doesn't work. So that's why like I'm perfectly fine with rolling the dice on a one sales score item. I'm getting it for, $1. I see there's no used, prime offers. And what happens here is all of a sudden it's prime. Somebody looks for that book on Google, Amazon Prime, buy it now. Boom. That book might be a one sales score item. And I had this happen. I tracked a few of them and it'll sell within 2 weeks of it actually getting there. Like it's crazy to me the opportunities we have, but you got to understand the software. You can't just rely on it. You can't just be like, okay, well, I got my trigger set, and if it dings green, I buy. If it dings red, then I leave it behind. Like them days are gone. It used to be like that, but that
Yeah,
everything's changed.
yeah. What would you do different if you had a scanning software? What would you like? Would you program it any differently than how they're programmed now?
No, I think sales rank don't mean nothing. Sell through is the only thing that matters in this game, and just identifying opportunities that the data is never going to be able to tell you, right? Tommy Boy's pissed off because I'm putting out some of the secret sauce. He's another member that's been around for a while. It's you gotta just I don't know, man. You gotta pay attention when you scan. That's all it comes down to. At the end of the day, you can't
Do
just
you, do
have
you
your
wish there
earbud
was
in.
no FBA notifications on Scoutly or Scout IQ?
I mean, I'm going to pay attention either way because
Yeah.
sometimes there's one idiot who's selling a book at $9 when really it's a $20-$30 book. So I probably say I buy like probably 30% of my inventory, if not more, is rejects. Like if I'm just going off the trigger set. So I mean, put that into context. If I have right now, my inventory is around like 3,000 items. I mean, I'm looking at almost 1,000 of my items are rejects that I otherwise would have left behind in a thrift store if I just had my earbud in and wasn't
Mhm.
looking at my phone while I was
Yeah.
scanning. And you could still be quick, right? Everybody
Yeah.
wants their time, their time, their time. All you got to do is have your phone up. You see that second column, it ain't got nobody there, or it's got Bozo the Clown at $6, then okay, then all right, let me stop, take a second look at this, see if it makes sense.
Wait, what do you mean? Bozo's like kind of $6 in the FBA column?
Yeah, yeah, and in the FBA column.
So you're saying this guy's price way too low? He's going to sell out, and the price is
Oh
going to go
yeah.
back up. Okay.
You see it all the time where people don't know how to use their repricer, and the FBA offer is matching the lowest FBM price. Like the person doesn't know what they're doing, and unfortunately, that's just the reality of it.
Yeah. I feel like maybe this is a silly idea, but we have red reject, we have green accept. What if you had like blue? And blue was kind of like what you just said. There's like Joe's the Boza or whatever you said his name was at $6 in FBA2 or nobody there or merchant fulfilled one equals buy box. Like all those things kind of indicate maybe there's no FBA offers and kind of turn like blue and it's like, hey, like just double check this because what I noticed is, okay, for that example, the low merchant matches the buy box and it's a decent selling book. Let's just say the low merchant's $6 and the buy box $6. No FBA offers are visible. We don't know if there's FBA offers or not, but the buy box is $6. So we assume that the merchant's in the buy box, or at least it seems like it. Then a lot of times Scout IQ, if it was a really fast selling book, it would compare it to new. And if the new price was high enough, then it would, like let's say $19.99, then it would ding profitable. But if there was no new price, then it would just compare to merchant 1, 2, or 10, whatever the app where it's triggers compared to. And so a lot of times, if the new offer wasn't present, then it wouldn't have that new price to compare to, and it would only compare to merchant prices, which are all watered down. And that would be like a reject that you never know. Should have been an accept, you know? And so like, I think that's an example of maybe that one would turn blue and it's just like, hey, we don't know, you know?
I mean, how much more easier can we make it for people to make money selling media on Amazon? That's the problem, right? If all the secret sauce is out there, you know, we're literally talking about stuff that nobody's going to talk about, and all the huge sellers do it. So it's almost like you learn these things as you go. And I realize with kind of like being a social media person, having a YouTube channel is uh the hand holding is completely different today than it was back like when I first found you, right? It was, you just had to do it. You just had to jump in, you had to figure it out. And yeah, sure, there might be tidbits here and there in the videos, but there's complete walkthroughs on every software, every sourcing method out there now. It just doesn't get no easier than it is today to kind of start and, you know, make decent money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. We got Zach Shaw in here. What's up?
I got a fun one here I want to answer from Mike
Yeah.
Marcuson here. Hey
What's
Mike,
up?
how often do you go to library book sales? Never. How about that? Library book sales, I don't got to go to them. The library book sales I go to are with the libraries I work with. And guess what? I help them set up the library book sale. I buy Dunkin' Donuts for all the old folk to come help set up on the library book sale day. And then guess what? 3 days before it's open to the public, I get to scan the whole damn sale to myself. So like, I mean, it's, you might be out there on Book Sale Finder and you see not picked over, you know, fresh inventory. Not in my libraries, because I scan the whole damn sale before it's even open to the public.
Yeah. The best library sale is the one that you have to yourself.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's a cheat code.
That says you guys are so great making money on Amazon. It's easy. Thank you. I wouldn't say it's easy. It can be. Once you get rocking and rolling, it's like, damn, this is easy sometimes.
Yeah.
But other times it's like feels impossible, you know? Mike, would you ever consider doing E to A or A to A? That's a good question.
I've thought about this. Maybe as I progress down the road and buy a house out in the middle of nowhere where like I can't see my neighbors, and you know, maybe I don't have thrift stores, I got to change my whole route, I got to drive, you know, 5 hours one way. I could see it being feasible. But even something like that, like kind of we're talking about how it's easy to make money selling media on Amazon. If you just understand and take advantage of the opportunities around you and the resources around you, like I'm 100% confident if I just said, all right, media is done today, I'm jumping into E to A to A, OA, whatever it is. I'm 100% confident that the progression and the success I've had with media would just translate over, because I know the sources are out there. All the information's out there.
Yeah. Is it not tempting for you to like, I mean, you've seen Steve, he built his business to, I think it's 500,000 last 12 months. Like, does that not kind of like make you go, holy shit, like, should I try some of this?
The 10 hours a week entices me more than the money, because I live a debt-free life. I don't have huge, crazy overheads.
Yeah.
I can live comfortably where I'm at. I can, I'm looking for a house to buy right now. So like the money aspect doesn't entice me as much as the time aspect of
Yeah.
getting, more of your life back. Even though, listen, ain't no other media person only doing it 20 hours a week and, pushing the numbers I'm pushing. But I still like the idea of getting more
Well, not
time
on
back out
YouTube.
of my life.
There's probably some hustlers out there behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Like
behind the scenes for sure.
and that's what I'm talking about, man. Like I met this guy up in New York when I was driving through New York. He came to my meetup, or he texted me. He's like, "Hey, come visit me." And this is a prime example of somebody that I've met like in person that you just wouldn't see on social media. He's doing 60,000 a month only on Amazon, mainly sourcing like off of Craigslist and stuff, and absolutely fucking crushing it. High average sales price. Super lean operation. I think he's doing like 100,000 every 90 on eBay. Is that what it is? Like
Yeah, every 90. Yep.
Yeah, and like he's just like he's killing it. And like I only met him because like he is so silent on social media. He wanted to meet up, met him in person, and is an absolute killer. And he probably only puts in like he's got kids working for him and stuff, going and doing pickups. He's probably only working like he'll probably put in 40 hours a week, but it's like 40 hours a week. He's in the warehouse. He's messing around and stuff. But I would say there are some people out there that have it dialed in. Now, I guess you wouldn't really call that thrifting,
But I mean, you get to that point, right, where it's almost like a cheat code when you start getting your time back and you start delegating and paying for these other things. And it's tough to kind of relate to somebody that is out there in the bins all day, or like
he's at 725,000 the last 12 months.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
But the thing is, like, it took him time. He developed all these processes over.
He did. Dude, Steve low-key kind of pulled that shit out of his ass, though. Like, I remember him calling me when I was in Colombia, and he was like, hey, man, he's like, I'm thinking about doing this eBay to Amazon thing. What do you think about it? Blah, blah, blah. He, like, wanted to provide more value to his audience, was, like, a big part of it. And, of course, he got in the truck rack and all that shit. But, like, I was just like, you can try it, man. And then, like, fast forward a year, and he's crushing it. And like I looked at he gave me his go-to lister login. I can't view all y'all's products, but he gave me his go-to lister login. I looked at his orders page, and like I could see his sales price, what he paid for the item, and what his profit is. And it's fucking ridiculous, man. Like
well, that's the thing. He just jumped in and he figured out as he went. He didn't think to himself, okay, I'm going to be pushing these numbers immediately. He knew it was going to be a process. He knew it was going to take time. Hiring people ain't easy. I mean,
it took him like over a year to become cash flow positive. Like he had to keep reinvesting everything in, and that's something a lot of people don't talk about.
Well, I didn't even know
Steve put what how much are you able to pull out of your business now? Like I'm curious. I think
it's the same with VAs, man. Everybody thinks they get a VA and it's like instantly you start making all this money, and that's not the case. I mean, you got to go through these VAs. You got to find one that works good for your business, somebody that's reliable, that works, that's a good fit for you to communicate with. But people just think it's like, oh, this is an instant level up. Well, it could be a curse. They could be working for 5 other people,
Yeah, I love what Joji and Victor are doing with like textbook flipping. There's just such good margin with media on Amazon, just in general.
Yeah, I don't do textbooks no more. I ran away. I'm too scared.
Yeah. Are you ungated?
Yeah, I basically sell anything on Amazon because my account's so old. I mean, stuff people are gated in. I don't even have gates. I never plan on selling it. And it's just for some reason I can sell basically anything and everything besides Disney because they regated that. But I've already
why do you think you're so like have you had something happen in your life where you're just like I don't want to fuck with like legal shit, or like did you hear somebody get an account shut down, or
that's it. I had a close person to me that does the same exact thing that I do, run into some headaches with textbooks publishers. So it's not worth the risk. I mean, listen, worst comes to worst, just cut it loose to a buyback company. Wash your hands of it. You still make some money. You don't always got to get every single dollar of every sale. That's another thing, right? Go down this rabbit hole of, oh my God, Mike, you undercut the buy box by a penny. You're destroying Amazon for everybody. I don't care. This is a business. If I can undercut Romer by a penny on an item and there's a higher chance I'm going to get the buy box for it, then sorry, Romer, I'm going to undercut you by a penny. That's just the reality of having a business. So the idea, well, the buy box rotates, yada, yada, yada. It depends where you live, depends on this, depends on that. Well, price is also dependent. So a penny a day, penny 20 times a day, I don't give a shit. I want my stuff to sell. I need to get my money back out.
Right. You just made me think of something. Speaking of that, so what's your opinion on the split shipment thing? Can you talk a little bit about that and what option? I think you said you're going with partial splits.
No, dude, I do no splits. I haven't done splits even before this started.
Oh, you're doing the minimum. Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah, even before they started this program, I was doing inventory placement. It's just I'm a lot more efficient at it. And, I put in your live stream the other night. I'm paying about 22 cents per item for the no splits.
Okay.
So boom, box, 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 box. It makes my life easier. I really don't have a lot of space. Even if I had a house, I don't want to have all these damn boxes sitting around. So pay up. It's a write-off at the end of the year. Your fees come out of your income anyway. It's going to make your life easier than
you're paying an average of 22 cents per item for placement.
Yeah, that's nothing, dude. I mean, if you ain't got 22 cents to give up on a media item, you ain't going to make it regardless, no matter what kind of split you got going on.
Yeah, I actually did a test out of Philly. I did a shipment on GoToLister out of Philly and then one on the West Coast, and I got 26 average placement for one and 37 cents for another. Then I did the partial splits, and it was being sent to, I'm sure you're familiar with these, but AVP1, ORF2, TEB9,
Yep.
and then optimized splits. Optimized splits actually went to Indiana and FWA, so further away.
Yeah, I've never sent to Indiana, but I'm in Somerset, New Jersey all the time.
Yeah, Amazon optimized splits out of Philly had an average of, it was 58 cents to 68 cent inbound shipping per pound, which is outrageous for Amazon optimized splits. Then for the partial splits, it was what did I get? 43 cents per pound. And 27 cents per pound for the second shipment. The second shipment was 150 bucks. The first shipment was 50 bucks. And then the placement fee for partial was 16 cents, 17 cents around there. So it actually came out like the cheapest option would have been to do partial.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the overall take on it. Is partial is probably your best bet if you're trying to save the pennies.
Expenses, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you can sign up for, if you're a new Amazon seller, you get the free $100 shipping credit. You enroll into the new selection program. Like, that's a free $100 bill for anybody that has never signed up for it, even if you've been selling on Amazon for 3 years. Go sign up for it. You get $100 free shipping credit out the door. So like, you can't chase pennies, man. You can't chase these pennies. It'll drive you nuts, and it's not worth it. It's not worth having the multiple boxes, in my opinion. Just pay the minimum and roll on with it. Put in your buy cost, right? That's what I tell everybody to do. Like, put in your buy cost, and you don't have to worry about it. And then you just know your box is your box. You scan your box in, you put everything back in the box. It's done. There's no playing this game of, well, now I got to pull out.
So you're only touching the book one time, right?
Yeah, dude, I ain't playing this game of all this nonsense.
Scan it, label it, put it in the box. You're doing the one box method essentially.
That's it, dude. You save so much time instead of playing this game. Well, now they want these boxes, and
before you scan lister, and you may continue, if depends on what you like more. But with GoToLister, scan lister, you're packing items in one box, closing it out, getting it out the door, just doing batch after batch after batch.
So another thing I like to hit on is the only way you're going to get your time back is if you have structure within your schedule. I don't play this game of I go sourcing today and then I'll send my stuff in tonight. No, Saturday is the day all the FBA stuff gets packed up. Monday is the day it goes to UPS every single week, no exceptions to the rule. That's just how you're going to get your time back. You don't play this game of, well, I got a bunch of stuff, so I better send it out tonight. No, if you have it scheduled and I sit down on a Saturday and say, shit, Romer, I got to get all this done today. You're going to be more focused on the task right here in front of you. You know this is what you got to do. And then you get it done in a quicker period of time because this is all you're worried about is packing boxes today.
Yeah, 100%. That's how I'm trying to get with the YouTube lives, man. I'm like, no matter what the fuck I'm doing a YouTube live today. Avery, is GoTo showing us placement fees? Am I just missing it? No, GoTo does not show placement fees yet. I'm sure we could, but it would be after you accept the shipment. So, but you can view that in Seller Central. I don't know. I could actually ask Don. I'm pretty sure we don't show you the placement fees though.
You don't. You just click through the shipment though. That's what I had to do on my box because I was curious how much they charge me.
Yeah, we could actually, since you do everything in GoTo now, like you don't have to leave to Seller Central. You can finish your shipment within GoToLister. We should probably show that. I'm gonna take a note of that.
Yeah, because ScanLister, you have to switch over to Amazon Seller Central. So
every other software out there you do.
Yeah, so I just checked just to see what it was, just to make sure everything worked out the way it should, like with the processing fee and everything. Yeah. Now I won't feel bad anymore when I choose no splits. Forget them splits, Kimberly. Get your time back and just put it into your buy cost and your trigger set, and then box by box, you knock it out. Have a set day. You're not going to spend all day listing, right? I mean, there's so many ways we can be more efficient, even in the grinding thrift model, that we just choose to neglect. We just choose to spend all day because, hey, I'm a full-time reseller, so I got to burn all my hours every single day reselling. This business doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah. Mega Man's asking about the $10 fee for no splits. It's not a flat $10. It's like a placement fee. So for minimal splits, you said, what are you paying per 20?
Like 22 cents.
And then what's your inbound shipping cost?
But usually between like, so like total or just my UPS label or both?
For your UPS label, like what are you
UPS labels between like 8 and 12.
Okay. Okay.
Because I got warehouses by me.
Like 20 cents per pound.
Yeah. So it's really not that high. I mean, yeah, if I do a whole box of CDs, we're talking 175 CDs in one of those low 16 by 12 by 12 boxes. Sure, it's going to cost me $38 in placement fees. But think about it. What if I told you you got 175 CDs? Now you got to go back in and split them up into 2 or 3 damn boxes. All of a sudden, your whole night's going.
Steve says, Avery was so mean to me for following your method, Mike. Well, things have changed, and I'm not necessarily judging you, Mike, but I think back then I would actually judge you a lot more for what you used to do. So when there were, what do they call it, distributed inventory placement?
Yeah, dude, I paid even then.
You used to pay 40 cents like out of the blue per item, which I think is a complete ripoff. For every 1,000 items, that's $400. And I used to shit on Steve. I used to be like, bro, like you're wasting so much money. You could literally hire an employee for $400 to pack all those items for you and do box contents. But now it's actually, there's a debate to be had. Like I'll share my screen with you guys real quick. And that's why like I'm not pushing back too hard on you, Mike, is like I'm actually writing a blog post on this right now. And I did an experiment, like I said, an East Coast shipment. And this is what I found for a smaller shipment. And then we can look at the bigger shipment because this is more realistic for like 150 items. You can see the total fee, like it's actually still the most for minimal splits, $86 for 150 item shipment. And then you're only paying 67 total for for the partial splits. This is your cheapest option. And you can see a breakdown, like you're paying $47 in placement fees, which sounds outrageous, but your inbound shipping fees are only $39 if you do minimal splits. Now up here, your inbound shipping fees are a little bit more, and your inbound shipping fees are the most for Amazon optimized splits. So it's actually like a kind of tough equation. Like in this scenario, this limited test that I did, it did seem like it's cheaper to do partial splits. But if we go up one example, I did a 50 item shipment, and for just $5 more, you can pay for the minimal splits, and you don't have to worry about packing box content, split shipments, all that. And so like with all the boxes, tape, and everything else you have to use in manual labor, paying an extra, what's $4 here, it's probably worth it. So that's why I'm kind of keeping an open mind to it right now. Whereas before I was like box contents is the way to go, which I still think it's a great solution. But
like I said, Romer, it's everybody's business is different. Sure, me and you both can sell media. We're all going to have different processes on how we send our inventory. And I paid the shit before it was even a thing. So everybody's like, oh my God, now I got to pay to have placements. Yeah, I was paying before. And who knows, I probably could have submitted those with not having placement on, and it all could have been in one box for free. Yeah. It could have been literally for free. So I'm just handing Amazon an extra $20 bill every box.
It's funny you realize that and you kept doing it.
Yeah, dude. I don't care. I'm trying to get my time back. I ain't playing this game. I'm just like, let's pump this shit out. I don't want to be boxing all day. Listen, I love Amazon. I love the money you can make, but you don't got to be, I would say do a time. Get 175 CDs. All right, the time it takes to pay for a little bit more money all in one box versus them splitting it up and you having to go through the stack of 175 different CDs. Now, this is different, right? We're talking media. Yeah. We're not talking quantities of replens. And they want 30 of these CDs in your stack going in one other box. Now you got to go through your stacks, find those 30 damn CDs. Dude, I remember the reason I got listing software when I first decided to get listing software. I did a full box of CDs on Seller Central with 30 up labels through a normal printer, and they don't print out in order. And I had 6 pages of 30 up labels, and I'm trying to match them up with CDs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we got pretty good box content flow. Like after you submit the batch, you can scan the item. It tells you what box to go into. But I want to show you guys something real quick with the splits, how crazy this is. Actually, I don't know if we have, I can't show you on this account actually. But what I was going to show you is like if you have Amazon optimized splits on, or even partial splits, if you preview the splits, look at them, and then go back and preview the splits again, they change every 30 seconds. And so if you don't like the splits, go back, preview them again. Literally they're changing like every 30 seconds now, which I don't remember them doing that before.
No, they
Before,
would
I remember
stay. They
like
would stay because I remember people would hang on to their boxes for like the next day and see
yeah,
if they would get no splits.
yeah. Now they're doing like every 30 seconds. So
I mean, come on, dude. We're selling media we get for $1 for X amount of dollars. Like, why are we trying to chase these pennies? Get your time back, people. That's all I can say. Like, that's
Joji,
fine.
Mike said he's coming to Vegas.
Yeah, Romer's gonna pick me up in his Corolla. It's gonna be a road trip.
I hate to say it, but paying the fee felt way better than all the splits. Such a headache. So many occasions where I wanted to send books, but it would never not split. Yep. Yeah.
It's
So
different strokes for different folks, right? There's no right or wrong answer. And we're both sitting here, and he's got his point on his side. I got my point on my side. It's what works best for you.
I think it definitely depends on where you live, and like everybody should preview these options themselves.
Yeah. Don't just do it because I say to do it. Don't just do it because Romer says to do it.
Yeah.
See what works for you. I mean, yeah, we have insight on what we do, but what we do might not work for you. You might be using a different software. You might be doing, something. Maybe you have the space and you have the perfect size boxes because you've been doing splits for years, and now splits are nothing to you. You enjoy splitting your stuff up. It's just different for everybody.
Yeah. I think there is a pretty quick flow you could do. So like now with GoToList, you can scan as fast as you want. You have to wait for the response time from Amazon. So you have to wait for the F and SKU. Like you can queue all your scans in essentially. So one flow is you scan in like 500 books or let's just say 150 books. Then it queues all of them in. You should still scan slow enough to see what's going on the screen because sometimes it selects the wrong ASIN, etc. Then you go to the box content phase. You pick up the book a second time, scan the barcode, and it'll print the label. And then you label the book, put it in the box. You're still touching the book 2 times, but you're not paying the fee. But even now, man, like it's so different now. And this is why like, I'm not pushing back on it too much because the Amazon optimized splits send your shit halfway across the country. So you're paying way more. And I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know if they're actually trying to like sell your books faster. Like, I don't know if your books will sell faster if you send them to the Amazon optimized warehouse. You would think they would. Like, why would they want those books in that warehouse? Maybe they're low on inventory. Maybe you'll buy box more. I don't know. But it's like another part of me just thinks they're trying to fuck with us. And it's like, look how expensive these are. Like, pay us more fees. Like, it almost seems like they just want to collect.
It's more fees for sure, 100%, because not a lot of people were using a placement before because you could get away with not getting split. You could leave your shipment there for a day, refresh it, boom, everything goes in one box. So like, it's just a cash grab, honestly. But if you're already paying it before, like I literally have I'm already paying, so it's whatever. It's the same thing to me, business as usual. A lot of people got an upper, and like, hey, listen, these mega sellers, dude, they're getting crushed with these guys that have their own brands, pushing these crazy numbers. Like, it adds up when you're paying for everything to go to one place. And they even have problems. They're used to sending in pallets, and now they want the pallets split up so they can save money. Like, that side of it is 100%. It's such a scam, and I feel bad for those mega sellers. But for us little guys, little fish in a pond, just trying to make some decent money, put some money away, retire early, like you can easily get away with paying it.
Somebody's asking, where can I view this? If you go to settings in the top right on Seller Central, and then click on fulfillment, scroll down to shipping settings or inbound, whatever it's called. And you can click on any of these options. So be sure, like if you're somewhere in the middle where like I'm in Tennessee, so I don't know if I'm East Coast or Central, but it was cheaper for me to do Central than it was East Coast. So mess around with these different options if you plan on doing partial splits or do minimal splits. And then keep in mind, you might look at Amazon optimized splits and be like, oh, there's only 3 split shipments and partial splits did 3 as well. So I should go with Amazon optimized splits because they don't have placement fees. That's not necessarily the conclusion you should make because they may have you send your inventory super far away if you do Amazon optimized splits, which it seems like that's what they're doing. And then your average cost per pound is, insane. So it makes up for it.
Yeah, I don't know what their idea was behind this. It's just one of those things where we just gotta roll with it and deal with it.
Yeah. This is way better than restock limits, though.
Oh, dude. I mean, that was like almost the end of every media seller, Like look at Side Hustle Experiment. He pivoted out of a whole damn warehouse and change his whole business model because you couldn't do nothing. Our hands were tied. Now, thankfully, this new one actually makes sense.
Side hustle experiment. He'll be in Vegas at Books and Beyond.
There you go. I can drive 20 minutes and see him and skip the flight.
Well, why would you want to see him in person if you could just FaceTime him?
I will say this though, right?
You don't see people in person.
Don't feel like you just got to sell just books. If you're not selling CDs and DVDs, you are leaving so much money on the table. Books are probably 20 to 30% at most of my business anymore. It's all disc media. The fees are lower. And as the fees continue to go up with books, because it's based on size and weight, it's hard to find a $5 profit book at $12 anymore, unless it's a skinny ass paperback. So like, it's only going to get harder to find more higher ASP profitable books compared to a CD. You can sell at $11 and still make $5. I'm just saying, if you ain't selling disc media, you're literally, it's all in the same spot in every single thrift store. So you're just shooting yourself in the foot.
I agree 100%. Well, awesome. Mike, thanks for coming on. We got a few videos to shoot, but if you guys enjoyed it, drop a 1 in the chat for Mike, and we're going to get out of here.
I appreciate everybody hanging out on both channels with us tonight. It's always fun talking, you know, the temperament of what's going on. And just the media selling over, you know, the world overall. I'm out in these stores 2 days a week, 8 hours a day. And, you know, just feel like the possibility is there for you to make a whole bunch of money. And it doesn't have to be the grind that some of us make it be. You can get away with getting your time back and just, you know, enjoying yourself and making a decent amount of money no matter where you're at. And yeah, man, sky's the limit with this business. What you put in, you're going to get out no matter what you do, especially with media. Doesn't take much to make much in media. That's kind of why I roll with it.
Yeah, 100%. Everyone go subscribe to Mike the Used Book Guy if you guys aren't already. Go type in Mike the Used Book Guy on YouTube. Hit a sub to that channel. He's got a ton of great content. He's out in the field sourcing twice a week, doing over 10,000 a month. And he's been in business for years. He's got a YouTube channel. I think it's just $10 if you subscribe to your
no, dude, you paid up for mine. It's $2.99. It's cheaper than a Happy Meal. I keep
my
prices
I pay $10?
down.
I got charged $10.
Regardless of inflation, it always stays at $2.99. You know, we got a Discord over there. We do weekly Zoom calls. We got an eBay call as well, so it's definitely worth it.
Mega Man, you're killing me using Accelerist. The reason why it says 0 on Accelerist is because Accelerist doesn't work.
That's you asked that question to the wrong person. Like, that's like the last guy you want to bring up that software to is him.
Google why Accelerist sucks, and my blog post will come up.
Oh man, I remember.
But I guess to answer your question, actually, Mega Man, like even does Scout IQ and Scoutly have different e-scores sometimes, or different 100?
Sometimes, yeah. And it really depends if you're live, your database. I mean, you're never going to catch everything. The software is just software, right? There's only so much it can do. You still have to understand what you're doing when you're out in the field, and you can't trust the software. I mean, we've all seen Terminator. Skynet takes over the world. You can't just rely on the software to do everything, and it's only going to get more advanced, right? AI is coming in. It's going to get easier and easier to make money on Amazon. And I'm here to tell you, the more knowledge you have based around the software, that's how you're going to win. That's how you get advantages over the person that's just scanning and listening, is because you're looking.
Exactly. Well, much love, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it.